In the top stories, Denis Kellman issues a fresh call for an airport in St. Lucie. The BLP outlines its vision in a 45-page document. And a Barbadian is the youngest ever international cricket umpire. Welcome to Nation News for Friday, May 6, 2016. I'm Natasha Beckles. St. Lucie MP Denis Kellman has issued another call for an airport at the Hope St. Lucie, despite what detractors have to say. Fresh from a trip to Mexico, where talks were held about building airports for growth, he said a northern airport could be used in cases of emergency. For example, if a plane crashes at Grantley Adams International and flights have to be diverted. Mr. Kellman said a second airport would ensure that the tourism and services industries are not affected. The MP, who is also the housing minister, was speaking after a ceremony and tree planting at his ministry to launch its 50th anniversary of independence celebrations. The opposition Barbados Labour Party has launched its Covenant of Hope, a 45-page document outlining its principles and vision. It was presented on Thursday night at Solidarity House by party elders, members of the parliamentary group, new politicians and youth leaders. A number of presentations were made on the BLP's vision for good governance, a new economy and fiscal management. Representatives also made pledges to public servants, children, young people, senior citizens and the disabled. Opposition leader Mia Motley said the BLP launched the covenant to remind residents there is always hope.
You may ask why now? Because the country is restless and some are beginning to believe that hope is not possible. And therefore the timing is opportune. And from here on in, our efforts will not be centralized as a party, but will, as I said, be into the communities and into the villages and into the parishes and with the sectors. I have asked today that my office send a copy of this covenant to have it translated into Braille, because it must be inclusive for all Barbadians.
A St. James man is mourning the loss of his wife who collapsed and died on her way to choir practice on Thursday night. 65-year-old Doriel Phillips left her Central Drive Haynesville home to attend the nearby Gospel Lighthouse Church, but she collapsed and fell in the road. She later died at the scene in Waterman's Village. Her husband of 38 years, Orville Phillips, says she was a quiet, church-going woman. He said he had been planning to take her to England next month as a belated birthday gift. 3 men were taken to hospital for treatment on Thursday night after they were shot at Vauxhall, Christchurch. Witnesses told Nation News the victims were among a group of men lying on the block when shots rang out. There was reportedly a scramble to get out the way, but 3 of the men were injured. 2 received gunshot wounds to their feet, while the other was shot in the foot and stomach. He remains hospitalized. The high dependency unit of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital has been given 6 cardiac monitors by the Carnani family. And according to head of the unit, Dr. Anne-Marie Hassel, the gift could not have come at a better time. She was speaking in the hospital's boardroom on Friday as the donation was publicly recognized.
And we were having a difficulty maintaining the number of occupancy beds in the high dependency unit of the hospital. And this was a very timely donation. We've actually had it here for a few months. We were able to maintain our beds capacity at 6 in the high dependency unit, and hopefully within the next month or so we'll be able to go back up to 8 beds, which is what it originally opened as an 8-bedded unit. And the high dependency unit is the step-down unit for both the medical and the surgical intensive care units. And so it's a very important part of our ICU care. And having these monitors means that we can now function at a better level and a more consistent level. And Mr. Carney himself actually had to come into the hospital and actually was connected to his own monitor while he was here. So thank goodness we had his monitors.
Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union is looking to expand its Thrift Club School Savers program. Word of this comes from marketing assistant Stacey Motley, who said 4 schools are currently involved. She was speaking on Thursday at a prize-giving ceremony for winners of the inaugural Thrift Club Essay competition. Ms. Motley said the credit union was committed to improving financial literacy since it strengthens families and builds up communities. In sport, Barbadian umpire Leslie Rifford Jr. has been appointed to the International Cricket Council's International Panel of Umpires at the age of 26. This makes him the youngest ever member of the ICC's second tier of officials. Mr. Rifford has been a member of the West Indies Cricket Board's senior panel of umpires for 3 years. He described his most recent elevation as a dream come true. And finally, the Florida man who threw an alligator through a drive-through window last October is now throwing himself on the mercy of the court. The Palm Beach Post says 24-year-old Joshua James agreed in court Friday to plead guilty to unspecified misdemeanor charges on May 31st and let a judge decide his sentence. Mr. James was arrested in February on charges that he threw the 3.5-foot gator into a Wendy's restaurant. He said he was sorry for throwing the reptile and said it was a stupid stunt. No one was hurt and the alligator was captured and returned to the wild. And that's Nation News for Friday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember to pick up your papers over the weekend or subscribe to our e-paper. And look out for the weekend buzz a little later. Thank you so much for joining us.